Hello, everyone, and welcome to the biggest Snap Take ever. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We have four, not three, four brand new decks for you that are proven and successful, including two Hercules decks, two non Hercules decks. We've got a bundle review and a look at every card that was data mined in the new patch. Before we get started, though, I'm going to invite you to hit that sub button, hit that like, hit that comment. We are fighting the YouTube algorithm. Help us beat the machines. We are less than 100 subs from 8,000. Sub, comment, share the video, leave a like, anything you can do. It's completely free to you, and it totally helps us reach our goals. We'd really appreciate it. Help us beat that YouTube algorithm. Return, we bring you a new video every single day, 7 days a week, six on this channel, one on the Marvel Snap Zone channel. That's our podcast where we interview Marvel Snap's biggest and best personalities. While here, we bring you at least three new decks every weekday, every bundle guide, every bit of news, everything you need for your Marvel Snap journey, including tips from the very best players in the game. Hit that button. Thank you so much to those of you who are doing so. We also maintain a giveaway sheet. It's in the description to the video. Every single day, you can find this regularly updated sheet from our friend Banshee. This is every giveaway that is currently active in Marvel Snap. So if you're interested in Marvel Snap giveaways, winning some free stuff, finding some great content, check it out. All right, our outline for the day. We're going to begin with our questions of the day, as we always do. Then we're going to look at some news. Then we've got a deck from our friend LaurenWhatevs, another Marvel Snap Zone writer. This is her Infinite deck. Then we've got all the February data mine cards. Then we've got Bacon Train's deck. Bacon Train's won an Infinity ticket with the Hercules deck, so we're going to look at that Hercules deck. I actually like it a lot. I played it a little bit. It was very good. Then we're going to look at all the March data mine cards. Then we've got a deck from our friend GunnyT, although I apparently didn't write Gunny's Twitter here. I'll get that fixed as soon as possible. I had Gunny edit this and he didn't even notice. Tisk. All right, then we've got the Kings in the Castle bundle guide. Then we've got Amano, the person who came in second in the Conquerors event, has another Hercules deck. And then we'll end with our shoutouts and our shop. Cool. Let's go. All right. Questions of the day. Thrawn is alive, as if Gladiator is worth a token purchase. So I tend to think no. Gladiator will be in a Spotlight Cache relatively soon, and you can always open for him when he's in that Spotlight Cache, and tokens are rare enough that I tend to not like to use them. Gladiator's also a lot of his quality is that all the best big stat sticks have sort of gotten beaten down. Our Werewolf by Nights, our Elsa Bloodstones, which made Gladiator sort of a redundant piece, have all been sort of removed from the game. Well, we may have in March another stat stick that will take Gladiator's throne. If that's the case, then this will be a bad purchase by then, especially given that this is going to be in spotlights. So I think this is a wait with your tokens for now because tokens are so hard to come by unless you're whaling out and you're just like buying a bunch of stuff. At that point, you might as well. Cool. Brandon Ruiz asks if Quake will be nerfed. Kaiser Wilhelm wants to know the same thing about Black Knight. So, all right, let's start with Quake. Quake's going to be nerfed. Quake is too good. Quake is particularly too good. They don't usually let like random Series 3 cards be the best card in the game for very long, and I think Quake has a real shot at being one of the very, 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 very best cards in Marvel Snap right now. And as such, I fully expect this card to be sort of taken out of the game. If you have Quake, great. It's a Series 3 card. You can play it. You can win a lot of games using Quake right now. I stole 8 cubes with it multiple times today. It's a marvelously powerful card that's ridiculously versatile and probably too cheap for what it does. I'd expect it to be a 3. From there, we'll see how good it is. 3 is so much more than 2 in terms of the curve in the game, in terms of fitting in with other cards at the end of the game. So we'll see if it gets a lot of play as a 3, but that would be what I'd assume is going to happen within about a month. Sorry, I've got a cut from my cat that's healing and it's very itchy. Um, Kaiser Wilhelm wants to know about Black Knight. I don't think they're nerfing Black Knight. I think they want Black Knight to be a premium card. It's really, really high variance, so it takes a lot of skill to play, and it doesn't really feel oppressive most of the time. So I'd be surprised if Black Knight gets a major nerf. If it does get nerfed, I wouldn't be shocked to see it go to 1-1 or 1-0. And at that point, like, kind of whatever. The Black Knight is just a vehicle for the shard. Gunny T asks about an 8 cube loss where an opponent really surprised me with the play. And we're going to talk about Gunny more later. Okay, so ready? Yesterday in a game, I lost 8 cubes. Was it yesterday? Whatever day. I lost 8 cubes. It felt terrible. It was a District X game, and I had my opponent locked up. I know I was going to lose one lane, but I figured unless they can go up to like 12 in 2 other lanes, I should be fine, right? And they didn't really have anything, and it was District X, and I figured like it's a middle lane, so they'd have to like have gotten Blob. Well, no, they had a Lady Sif, and they discarded an Infinite. Lady Sif was from District X, Infinite was from District X, so I feel like I'm relatively safe. Nope, they also had hella -8 cubes. Actually hurt an awful lot. Generally speaking, though, I don't really remember 8 cube losses. I know they happen, but like I don't also really remember wins. Like I vaguely remember I won my first Infinity Border. I was up like a reasonable amount, but the last game that won my first Infinity Border was an ego game, but I tend to not really like super duper remember that kind of thing. I know that that's not the most interesting answer, but it's the honest one. If you'd like your questions read out in tomorrow's video, leave one in the comments. And as always, priority answers are for our Patreon, so if you're interested, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. We have multiple tiers of support. All right, news. Dynamic shops are live in Marvel Snap. The answer that was given is it is live in the game. We will continue to release improvements to it as well. For example, we recently increased the likelihood of album and popular variants you may not yet own to show up. That's reasonably cool, right? So album variants are more likely, which is good, and popular variants that you don't yet own, variants that a lot of people buy, are now showing up more. Well, people like Dan Hips, so I'd assume you're about to get a lot of Dan Hips, especially a lot of the album hips about to show up. That's ultimately, I think, mostly good news, except that I don't really want more album variants. Like I have the album variants I want. I filled up the hip album. I don't like any of the other albums. I really venomized one, and I have limited in. I don't hate the Jim Lee one. I'm fine with it, and I don't really like the Hellfire Gala one. So I don't want them to show up more. So hopefully they continue to tweak this so that like it's more personalized and specific, but we now have dynamic shops. So it'll be new cards plus things that sort of fit your collection, which I think is pretty cool. Don't just give popular cards though. Give popular cards based on what we want, what we traditionally buy. That's where I think we should be aiming. Cool. Let's keep going. Our first deck is again from our friend LaurenWhatevs. This is Lock and Valka mini move, and it uses some cards that have fallen out of the meta for Infinite. Those cards would be Elsa, Kitty, and Captain Marvel. These were the meta for a while. These three cards were at various times the best cards in Marvel Snap. They disappeared. Well, they're back. So they're back largely because this is fundamentally a Valkyrie deck. If you can win a lane with Storm, and usually win another lane if you can throw priority with Kitty Pride, because the timing with Kitty and Elsa means that Valkyrie is going to get the buff after setting everything to 3. You can also just play a really big Kitty because Elsa on Kitty every turn is going to be a lot of power boost. The rest of this deck is really simple. It's just power that can move and power that's unpredictable. Mobius helps prevent things from going over the top of you, as does Goose. This tries to proactively prevent big plays and not react. By the way, we had a whole conversation about whether Captain Marvel should be about whether or not Captain Marvel should be Ms. Marvel. I think Ms. Marvel is better. She thinks Captain Marvel is better. Pick your poison. All right, so Echo is pretty needed because, like, otherwise Valkyrie can get shut off by an ongoing card. If you don't have Echo, you're gonna try Spider Hammer or Ant-Man. They're worse, but they're playable. Kitty still gets big with Elsa. You can try the Hood because Hood helps you lose priority, gets big with Elsa, and then that Demon does the same basic thing as Kitty at the end of the game. But I think Kitty is enough better that meh. Elsa can be Quake or Angela. Quake is insane. Quake would be kind of busted in this deck. Quake is kind of busted in every deck. Angela is just another thing that can grow with Kitty, another thing that grows after the Valkyrie trigger. Jeff can be, yes, take Quake. There's also Silk as a decent Jeff replacement here. And Mobius can be either Quake or Rogue. All good? That's how this one. Okay, so this was an easy infinite for Lauren. So turn 1, Echo Mid is better than Kitty, is better than Nightcrawler. Turn 2, Elsa over Craven over Goose. Turn 3, Storm is better than Mobius or a 2. Turn 4, Quake if you put her in. Quake right now, just a little. Um, Turn 4, Quake if you have her. If not, Captain Marvel, hopefully to fill a lane with Elsa, or 2 2s are fine. Turn 5, Vision or Captain Marvel and a 1. And turn 6, Valkyrie and a 1. And then you win. Enjoy the victory. Cool. It's a very strong deck, and I urge you to try it. It's super duper straightforward. You'll be able to tell whether your combo is going off or not. Okay. This is the variants that Lauren put in the deck, not me. For whatever reason, again, Marvel Snap Zone still won't show the Echo variants. It's very annoying. Pixel Valkyrie is a Lauren fave. She also really likes the Elsa that came with this pass. She does, thankfully, properly have 2 hips in this deck in Vision and Mobius. I have this kitty with the gold border. I love it very much. So if I was making this deck, just so you know, I've got a kitty hip, a Nightcrawler hip, a Goose hip, Elsa hip, a Jeff hip, a Mobius hip, and the Vision hip. So I've got 7 hips for this deck. So just so you know, I'll be playing this deck anytime I have 7 hips in a deck. Usually a good bet that I'm willing. Cool. All right, let's talk the February season pass cards. The February season cards. The February season pass card is Black Swan. Black Swan is a 2/3 on reveal until the end of your next turn. Your 1-cost cards cost 0, and 0-cost cards are almost always broken in Marvel Snap, so this is going to be very good. The 2 easy ways, well, 3 easy ways for this to be good are 1, Thanos. Free Infinity Stones is excellent. Getting free Infinity Stones even on like turn 4 or 5, is going to be completely great, especially with Lockjaw. We've seen what 0-cost Infinity Stones do with Lockjaw before. Spoiler, it's insanely strong. We will also be able to play this with Hit Monkey, because playing a bunch of zeros at the end of the game. And then Hit Monkey is going to lead to an absolutely huge Hit Monkey. This should be easily be bigger than a Mysterio Hit Monkey combo. The other thing this does is if your 1-costs are on reveals, then you'll be able to make your werewolf really, really huge. And a huge werewolf is obviously hard to deal with and unpredictable and very powerful. This is a must-buy season pass card. This is more on the power level of our Elsa Lokis. It's very hard for me to imagine this not getting nerfed within like 2 months. It's going to be absolutely excellent and push Mobius back to the top of the meta for at least a while. By the way, if you'd like all 10 of these cards ranked, go to Marvel Snap Zone. Don't leave my video, watch my video, please. But you can go to Marvel Snap Zone, and I have an article where I rank all 10 from the very worst of these to the very best. All right, next up we have Supergiant, who went from a 1-2 last time we saw her to a 4/5, and it's on reveal. All cards played next turn don't reveal until the end of the game. Supergiant is broken. You play her on 4, the 5s don't reveal till the end of the game. You play her on 6, the 6s don't reveal. Not as good. 5, sorry, the 6s don't reveal. That's not as good, right? But you turn off turn, if you get priority going to at the end of turn 4, right? The turn 5 doesn't reveal, and then you can kill all the turn 5 and turn 6 plays without Eliath. And that seems just crazy strong. It turns off Sarah entirely. It turns off the ability to counter magic. It turns off like 1,000 things. This will immediately be one of the very best cards of Marvel Snap. I think Supergiant is complete. Cull Obsidian is a 4. Ooh, that's the old Cull Obsidian. Excuse me. This is not new Cull Obsidian. New Cull Obsidian is a 4/9. You can only play it when you have a 1-cost card at that location. So it's still a Thanos card, but it's a significantly worse card. Because any buff still allows it to get hit by Shang-Chi. It's not any longer a can't be destroyed. But hey, a 4/9 is a really powerful card, and Thanos decks are blob decks, and they would just like a 4/9. So Cull Obsidian is going to just be a general good Thanos card. Maybe it finds another home or two, but like that's its main use. Since 10 is key for Scar, it's probably not going too many other places. Our last 2 cards, we have Corvus Glaive, 3/4. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get 2+1 max energy. So when you reveal it, you discard 2 cards and then give the Electro effect. We're going to talk about that with the week after's card, Proxima Midnight. These are release order. So we're going to talk about that with Proxima Midnight. Proxima Midnight is 4/6. When this is discarded, jumps to your lowest powered location that isn't full. So you play Corvus like you can play him in discard. You can play him in Hela, right? Like Apocalypse discard or Hela discard, and he's going to be a very good card. But you can probably package him with a low-cost grouping of cards like Swarm, Wolverine, and Proxima, and just say, great, if I happen to discard these cards, you'll also probably throw Silver Samurai in that deck. Great, if I happen to discard any of these cards, Guess what? I just have +1 energy the rest of the game. And if I hit Wolverine and Proxima, I have 10 free. Or if I hit Swarm and Proxima, I have 12 free power. That seems, again, like a very, very powerful play, something that's worth looking into and doing. I think Corvus is going to be absolutely fantastic. Proxima is only, I think, broken if you get Corvus. It's a very good card. Like, it'll clearly go in your regular Dracula discard. 6 is a lot of power. It'll clearly go in your regular Hela decks, but I don't think it's going to be pivotal there. Whereas if you have Corvus, you 100% want Proxima because Proxima's cool. So you have to buy Black Swan. And the same week as Black Swan, as a Series 5 card, Super Giant is coming out. Get Super Giant. The rest are more variable. Corvus Glaive, if Corvus creates a new good stuff package, will be completely busted. And the other two are for very specific decks. All good. Let me know any questions, comments, or concerns about these cards in the comments, and make sure you check out the article on Snapzone. We'll talk about the March cards coming soon. All right. This is Bacon Trains. Bacon Trains is a Twitter user that I found who had, through Snapdex, an infinite ticket winning Hercules deck, which is rare, right? At least at this point. A lot of people didn't get Hercules, and those that did, largely, according to the stats, aren't having the most success. This deck is really good. It's a nice, simple Shuri deck. It runs the 3 destroy cards, Carnage, Venom, and Deathlock, in order to blow up either Torch or Multiple Men, and then just make yourself a big Phoenix Force. What Hercules does in this deck, according to Bacon Trains, which I think is really smart, is Hercules gives you an extra turn to draw your Phoenix. If you see your Phoenix on 5, you usually don't have enough time to really spread it around and win the game. Well, here you get that extra move from Hercules, so maybe you do, which is really, really strong and really, really cool. And that's basically what this does. Zabu is a really cool tech piece here, because then you can spend the end of your game playing Shang and Phoenix Force, or Shang and Hercules, or whatever, and that's pretty good. Or you can go like um, Shuri and Shang, right? Like Shuri and Hercules, and all these are just powerful plays that can help you win a game of Marvel Snap. Cool. I like this deck a lot. I think this is a really cool and smart idea. So, Ghost Spider can be Iron Fist without too much. I think you need Zabu for this version of the deck. You also need Phoenix Force. Nimrod can be Red Skull or Vision without losing too much. In some ways, that's easier to play if it's one of those cards, largely because then you don't have to worry about saving a destroy card for them later in the game. But if you don't, it's totally fine. Okay, so this one, an infinite ticket. So turn 1 Torch, eat it or multiply it. Turn 3, eat that Torch or multiple men or play Zabu. Turn 4, Phoenix or Hercules. And your alternate play pattern, if you haven't done any of the other stuff, is Shuri. Turn 5 is Phoenix or Hercules. And if you haven't done any other stuff, if you Shuri, then Nimrod. And then turn 6, 2 4s or eat Nimrod. Then you should win the game. If you don't have that Phoenix or Hercules play for turn 5, that's a perfectly fine time to drop a Zabu. This is a really cool, really powerful deck. It's a little finicky, and it's weak to Shadow King, but otherwise it's great. So, quick look at the variants here. We've got I threw the Venomized Ghost Spider in here because I've got Venom in the deck. I've used the Hip Venom and Carnage here. We've got my favorite version of the Human Torch. I like this multiple man a lot. I pulled it. There's a Hip coming soon, so I used Art Adam Shang-Chi. And then we've got Hip Shuri, Hip Phoenix Force, Hip Nimrod, and I got the Spotlight Hercules sort of by accident. I talked about it in yesterday's video if you want to hear more about that. But this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hip deck. Not bad at all. All right. So I also had success with this deck. I'm trying to feature more of my own decks here, at least a little bit. I built this for my Discord yesterday as we were talking about it. I was like, well, if you can make a Human Torch big enough, Living Tribunal should win the game. Turns out Hoogland had the same idea and released a different version of this deck. I think Hoogland's is, how do I put this? Different enough to be checking out if you're interested in this deck, but I like this version. I do think Nico should probably be Deathlock in it, but the basic gist is magic for an extra turn, so it works like Hercules for that extra turn. And if I can just get a stupidly huge Human Torch or a million multiple men, then spreading them out evenly should usually win the game, even through like a Shadow King at that. And that seems like a good thing to do. That's the entire logic of this deck. Tribunal should be really good. I have an extra turn to draw my stuff because of magic, and then I can protect my stupid Human Torch if I can make a stupid Human Torch with Kara. This really wants to make a stupid Human Torch, and if you have 7 turns, you have an extra turn for Kara. It should not be terribly difficult to make Human Torch a bajillion power with Hercules. So if you get a Phoenix Forest Human Torch, right, that's 7, right? And then you either Doctor Strange or Ghost Spider that, and now it's 14. Then you get its natural move, and now it's 28. Except its natural move, if it happens on Hercules, is now going to be 56, and now you're at 102, and you're spreading that with Tribunal, and then you win. Seems good, right? Like, I think that's the best play for Hercules. Again, I'm doing my best to show the decks I'm having success with, in addition to the decks of others, and this deck is really strong, so you should try it out. If you do try it out, please do me a favor. Let me know either over on the Marvel Snap Zone Discord in my section, podcast chat with the hosts, or in the comments to this video. I'd like to know how you do. I'm succeeding with it, but I found that, like, apparently my brain is weird and I succeed with things others don't always. All right, we're on to the next. Oh no, I did these in the wrong order. So we're going to start here and then go back one slide. This is the March season pass card. March is both my son's birthday and my anniversary, so I'm very excited. Hope Summers is the March season pass card, and somehow they figured out how to make a season pass card that's going to be even more broken than Black Swan. This feels like it's insane. 3/3 for Hope Summers. After you play a card here, you get +2 energy next turn, which means that with Kitty Pride, you can just abuse the crap out of energy with move cards like Vision, Jeff, Spider Man, etc. Hope is going to generate silly amounts of energy and empty your hand. That's crazy strong. Hope is crazy, crazy, crazy strong. I don't have anything else to say about this. I don't have another way to phrase this. Hope is going to be a straight up busted, phenomenal card if she releases anything like this. In a way, I hope she does. I think like this is fun and changes the game in a healthy, play more cards kind of way, which gets us away from the like sort of static Thanos builds that we've been seeing, which is just like drop big card, drop big card, draw, drop big card. So I would like to think Hope might change that. I could be wrong, right? But I think Hope and Black Swan in concert would probably be fairly different and alter that situation. Hope is absolutely, absolutely phenomenally broken as a card. Cool. But she's nothing compared to Pixie if Pixie is as advertised. Pixie is a 1/3, which is already a top stat line. On reveal, shuffle the cost of all the cards in your deck. So if Pixie takes all the cards in your deck and says, okay, so you have 3 1 costs and 5 6 costs. Let's just shuffle them. Now some of those 6s are 1, some of those 1s are 6. Then she's going to be completely busted. Like utterly broken beyond belief. She will be one of the best cards ever printed in Marvel Snap. She's Loki all over again. She's insane. I don't know if that's what she does. She could also shuffle the cost of all cards in your deck, could simply mean she says, okay, so you have 5 6s in your deck, right? Each of them gets shuffled. Some of them still up 6s, some of them end up 5s, and then some of them 4. It's just going to sort of shuffle those cards. I think that's much harder to value, and I don't know how that is. But if it's that first one, this card comes out with Hope. Please get it. Save for it. It's insane. I told you earlier there was a card that would kill Gladiator. I think Mockingbird is that card. I think Mockingbird is utterly insanely strong. 5/9 costs 1 less for each card you haven't played that didn't start in your deck, which seems like it's hard to do, right? It's not. Um, a rock ends up on your side of the board, a goblin ends up on your side of the board, a widow's bite ends up on your side of the board. Okay, -1. A demon ends up on your side of the board, -1. A infinity stone ends up on your side of the board, -1. It's very easy to get her to a E9, which is better than Gladiator with less downside. And even there, from there, if you're playing either Thanos or your opponent's playing junk or you run debris, it's easy to get her even higher. Certain locations, the one that like if you're losing on turn 3, you get a stone, would be awesome with her. You would just like, I'll throw that location to get -1 on one of my power cards. 9 is a lot in Marvel Snap. We'll see if this releases as is, but it is a stellar card. Um, I don't know how else to put it. I've seen people underrating this, and I don't think they should. All right, back because I did it in the wrong order. Cannonball is the great disappointment. Cannonball is one of my favorite characters in Marvel. He is a 5/8. Move an enemy card away from here and add a rock where it was. If it can't move, destroy it to add the rock. So the destroy might be cool, except that like um they have to have every other location filled, which means you're playing Cannonball on 6, and the 5/8 on 6 is fine, but it's like it's not where you want to be, right? So it's probably just gonna move a card away from here. That's Stegron's ability, so I don't care. I don't know how else to put that. I don't want a 4/6 Stegron. I don't want a 5/8 Stegron. So sorry, bye Cannonball. This is like a bad card, and I love Cannonball. It makes me savage. And then we have War Machine. War Machine is just a really good stuff card. It replaces Jeff and numerous shells. 4/6 on reveal at the end of the turn. Nothing can stop you from playing cards. Sorry, until the end of next turn, nothing can stop you from playing cards anymore. So someone said this is basically Snowguard, or it's similar to Snowguard. Snowguard for the same thing is 5 stats for 4, but it's also over 2 turns, and you have to draw it, and you can't do it sort of on demand as a surprise, right? Like they know it's coming when you have Snowguard. I think War Machine is generally speaking better than that. Not better than Snowguard when Snowguard made one was the one that made 2s, but better than Snowguard is the one that 3s. And Snowguard's a super powerful card. People just don't play it enough. So I think War Machine's going to be really, really great. It's like the simplest good card of all of these, but I think it's like compared to the others, a fair good card. Although it is going to very likely kill Lock. We'll see where the game is then, right? So like maybe it'll kill Lockdown, but maybe Supergiant gives us a sort of different type of Lockdown, and it doesn't do anything to that. So let's see where we are. Oh, all right, that's the March cards. Again, Hope and Pixie are completely insane. The first 3 of this month are just like mind-blowingly great. Please, if you're interested in a write-up of these with a deck for each of them, again, check the article on Marvel Snap Zone. We'd appreciate the support, as in, I'd appreciate the support. A bunch of people go read my articles. It helps. Thanks. Our next deck is GunnyT's Big Dumb Idiots. We talked about this deck for a while. He ended up here with it. This is a really, 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 really good Scar deck. This is probably my current favorite Scar deck. Um, it's the second best Scar deck I've played so far. I guess the third technically, right? Because there's the stupid Thanos list that Lambie and Cam are promoting as the best deck in the game right now. Fine, that's probably best. And then it's this and Safety Blades deck. Safety has the Shuri one, and then this version, and it's some combination of these two that are the best. This one beats the pants off Loki though, and Loki beats Thanos, which is pretty good. Then he says, specifically, if you want to be Loki, you pile your big cards where they've already started to play cards. This way, they won't have enough extra stuff to be able to go over you in those locations. Like if you have a gladiator, you have armor gladiator Atuma, right? They're gonna have to draw real well to win that location. And then your blob and destroyer and whatever should usually win the other location because they're not going to be able to like prevent their destroyer from blowing up their board and so on. Cool. That's how you win with this deck against Loki. This deck is really strong. Um, so Blob and Scar are the big dumb idiots. You need them. Gladiator can be Echo, Rogue, Medusa, or Polaris. You can also try Wave or Prayer. There's lots of options. Gladiator is again important but not pivotal. So GunnyT is crushing with this. It's getting people to infinite, and it got him into the top 1,000. Basically, what he's been doing is he got like a life and a family. So he has his day, then he plays at night. He gets into the top 1,000 with this deck. Then he goes to sleep overnight, falls below the top 1,000, then does it all over again. So this is a consistent winner of a deck that can win in both Conquest and Ladder. It's got multiple Infinity tickets as well. Turn 1 pass. Turn 2 armor over Maximus, way over Quake. You don't usually Quake unless you also don't have something on turn 3 and you're like just desperate. And if you're Quaking, you're trying to move something blind onto them so that hopefully they can get screwed over. Um, Turn 3 Cosmo over Gladiator over 0 plus a 2. And if you 0 plus a 2, you're basically setting up for a Tuma. You don't want a 0 plus a 2 for Warpath. That would be bad. Turn 4 is a Tuma, either after that 0 play or on armor, or Warpath. You're using Warpath to make a lane so big that they feel like they can't threaten it, and then you can feel free to turn off Warpath later when they. Cool. Turn 5 is Scar plus 0 to set up a Destroyer, or Ronin. Ronin's just nice and big, or Gladiator plus 2. Um, that 2 can be Maximus. I prefer Maximus to be the second play on turn 6. The main play on turn 6 is just Blob if there's still big stuff in your deck. Play with the deck tracker if possible, so you know that. If not, know the deck well enough to know what's in it. If not, you can almost always get a Scar plus a 2. Sometimes you can get a Scar plus a 4 if you want a 2 more Warpath plus Ronin. So you can get Scar plus like Maximus plus Quake, which is just insane. And if you've got Ronin out, that's where that Maximus comes in. And then the other play is just Destroyer. Destroyer is good. He's a big dumb idiot. That's what this deck does. All right, variants for the deck. We've got, as far as like real hips go, we've got Cosmo, Gladiator, Atuma, Ronin, Blob, and Destroyer. So that's 6. This armor hip is not out, but it's one of my favorite variants. It's now officially my most wanted variant, so I want it. X-Force Warpath, my favorite Quake, my favorite Maximus until a new one comes out. I need a Scar variant, but there's some good ones coming too. We'll talk about that by the end of the video. When we do my shop, we're going to look at my favorite Datamined variants. And then we've got, I don't know, just the 0 I happen to have that I think is pretty cool. Let's keep it going. This is the Kings and the Castle bundle. It is a fine old bundle. This is a lot of gold for $30. For $30, you usually get like 2,400 gold. Great. This is a lot more than 2,400 gold. It's like a 40% increase. Cat just started meowing for whatever reason. But this is a 40% increase in that gold. If you would ever buy gold, then this is a great, great value. It's as simple as that. If you would ever buy gold, this is great value. I don't value gold conquest tickets, so I don't care about that. This is my favorite Doom in the game. I think it's gorgeous. I already have it with a gold background. The flames and the ice coming off him animated on the gold background are gorgeous. This is probably my new favorite variant. I haven't bothered to upgrade the Odin. I have a hip, which is my standard. Like, if I have a hip, I don't really worry about upgrading other. But this Doom is absolutely gorgeous. I used a bajillion credits on it. I had like 6,000 credits saved up. I'm down to 1,000, but I got it where I wanted it to. This bundle was absolutely worth it. Also worth noting, Second Dinner has gotten rid of data mines for bundles. I think that's a huge mistake. It's going to force me to spend less on the game unless the value is through the roof, because I never know if a better bundle is going to come. Any good bundle could immediately be supplanted by a great bundle at any time if I don't know that. So any good bundle I can't buy. Any variant that I'm just willing to speculate on, I can't speculate on any longer, because when I do, I'm risking not having the gold for when I need it. And like buying gold when I don't know whether I can plan on a nice big gold bundle, like this one, for example, is not a thing I'm willing to do. They have fundamentally forced me to spend less. I'm a pretty big whale, but I don't think that's what they want to be. All right. Our last deck of the day is a Mono's Hercules Silver Bullet. This is a move bounce. It doesn't bother with Beast, so it's only got Falcon as a way, because Falcon's as a way to bounce its stuff. It wants to bounce fundamentally Human Torch and Iron Fist and Ghost Spider. Everything else is fine, but like what it wants to bounce is Human Torch, because one of the easiest win conditions for this type of deck is a huge Human Torch. This deck can also move Vulture. Vulture does not need more than 1 to 2 moves to be really good. And Dagger, who again, if you do well, like Dagger's like a 2/8 or a 2/10. You don't need much more than a 2, right? 4, 6. Yeah. 1 card there, 4, 2 cards there, 6, 3 cards there, 8, 4 cards there, 10. Yes. So like any of these moves are perfectly good and very powerful. And you're just trying to reuse move cards as much as you possibly can, particularly Ghost Spider and Iron Fist, to make Dagger, Iron Fist for lane winners. And as you're doing this, if you get Werewolf out, Werewolf bounces all over the place and you win the game. This is a very cool deck. Amano has a YouTube video, but it is not English, about this deck. Sorry. But if you want to see gameplay, you can check that out. All right. Ghost excuse me. Ghost Spider can be Cloak. It really hurts this deck not to have Ghost Spider. Nico can be Cloak. That hurts less. Hulkbuster or Beast, all of those are fine. So the reason you want Ghost Spider is because you really want to bounce your move cards in this deck, and you can't bounce in this current version. Nico is sometimes move card, but mostly just like utility card, so it's not. You need Werewolf, and believe it or not, you also need Hercules. Because if you get that double move on Vulture, now you have a 3/13, right? If you get that double move on Torch, you have a 1/8. You can usually get it twice for like a 1/16. And at that point, like, you probably win. It's a lot of power, especially if you've got Werewolf jumping around each time. The cool thing about Hercules is if you use your move or a move card, and then like the card, like another card would end up there, Hercules is not going to chuck Werewolf away. Pretty damn. All right. Amano's cool Herc Forge or Fist to set up a torch, Craven or Torch, or set up to move Vulture, which would be Iron Fist, Vulture or Falcon to bounce your torch combo, Werewolf or Herc, and then you just move 4, and you win. Deck is really good. So, quick variant talk here. We've got my 1602 dagger, again, by Hercules, my Spotlight Hercules and Werewolf. The only Vulture I have is kind of ugly, but Vulture's kind of ugly. Sadly, brutally, only a one-hit deck, Falcon. We've got Midnight Suns for both Nico and Doctor Strange, though. I decided to run the cool Jungle Craven, the Iron Fist I have that I really like, the Human Torch that we got when people voted wrong and didn't give us a Shang-Chi, and then the Peach Momoko Ghost Spider and the lovely Hellfire Gala Forge. I really like the colors on them. Now, I also played Hercules, and this was my most successful build. This is the auto builder, slightly tweaked. I think I changed a card. The hell was that one card? I'm pretty sure I put Miles in, but Lord, whatever it was, I went 10-2 with this. I played it on ladder with the location. That location did nothing for me, and I went 10-2, and it was like a fairly easy 10-2. So I don't know, 83-ish% win rate. If you want to try this version out, it's fairly similar to the previous version. It doesn't bother with bounce. Instead, it says I'll just use Heimdall for my big move at the end. Hulkbuster is really largely for multiple man here. You don't really care about it otherwise, and just everything grows enough that like it's not terribly difficult to win. So this isn't also like a fairly cheaper version because 2099 is series 3 now, right? Series 3? I feel like 2099 is series 3. That's what we're gonna go with. So if you happen to have Hercules and Ghost Spider, who's now series 4, and would like to try a deck, this is a nice simple one, relatively cheap one to try, and I've had success with it. So like again, trying to show you more of the decks I'm having success with, not just the decks of others, so you have more. That's the name of the game. All right. My variant shop for today had nothing for me. This Miles is great, but I have like 4 miles. This Domino is fine, right? I mean, this is Jim Lee, I believe. Like it's a nice Domino, but I already have a Domino, and I don't care enough about Domino to spend 1,200 gold on a card I'm never gonna play. I have like 4 Mr. Negatives, like 4 Deadpools. I just bought a green Goblin that's actually green. I have the Rion Polaris. I have the amazing Hellfire Gala Moon Knight, and I have 2 or 3 arrows. And I don't really like art germ. I don't want I want my art to be more comic either. All right. So there are also data mine variants. My 4 favorite non-hit data mine variants are right here. This is my new favorite Maximus. This feels very Maximus and very like anime. I think it's kind of great, and I plan to buy it if it's remotely cheap. I have like 5 sunspots, but Brazilian sunspot looks amazing. Got the like bird feathers, and just it's gorgeous, and I must have it. This is the best Scar to me, the like sort of shadowy Scar with his weapons, I think is great. And this Mockingbird is I mean, it's just gorgeous. This is one of the best pieces of art in the game. It's one of the ones where you don't like split it because you don't want to that beautiful background. So that's where I am with the awesome variants that were data mined. Tomorrow, we'll look at my favorite hips from the data mine. Cool. All right, before we go to the end of this video, I'd like to give thanks to our Patreons. One of the tiers of support comes with on-air thanks. We've got Models, Pretty Chill, Fathor Newman, who you can check out on YouTube, Ink, No Flex, Mandatory Burnout, Matt Conduit, Good Dog Gamer, Herdick Lee, Mikey Hijinks, DG Winfield, Rob Silverman, Matt H., Robert Rivard, Abigail Gieslin, Direwolf, Ocularis, Mike Jones, Louis Ansones, my former student, JD McDonaldinho, who you should check out on Twitch, and Min, the homie, who you can find as Rito in Disguise with underscores between Rito and in Disguise over on Twitch as well, because these are awesome people. Check them out, show some love. Thank you to them for support. And now we are finally show. The end of our show is me letting you know that I think that the cards coming for the rest of this month, I think Grandmaster is likely the best of them, but I think that even Grandmaster pales in comparison to the best of the next 2 months. Yes, these are data mines and they could change for the worse, but I think the very best of the next 2 months are completely insane, and it's time to start hoarding some spotlights or spending to make sure you have enough spotlights because they're game breaking cards. Are they as good as the Loki season? I hope not. I genuinely hope not. Loki season broke the game. We're still feeling the after effects of the Loki and Elsa seasons when they sort of broke card design for a little while and admitted it. So things have been much safer since then. So I hope that things aren't going to be that bad. But these are must save for cards. All right. The decks that we talked about today are really great, really interesting. I've got another Hercules deck that won 2 infinity tickets for you tomorrow. So much more. So please hit that sub button. Don't forget there's a video every day. We're recording a podcast tomorrow night to get it up by Saturday so that there's 7 days of videos for you. Thank you again so much. Check out the Patreon if you're so inclined. Appreciate you.